amigos, Ramen coming at ya. When it comes to action cartoons that have great story and characters, what comes to mind? Could it be Superman, Ben 10, or could it be the Teen Titans? When I think of an animated action show that shaped my childhood, I look back at 2010, when there was a show about a dude who uses machine powers to kill monsters in style. That show in question is Generator Rex. The premise, for those that don't know, involve a nanite outbreak that transformed humans into monster-like creatures called Evos. But Rex, he's special because he has his own nanites and uses them to create powerful biomechanical weapons which he uses to fight the evil Evos, with help from the organization known as Providence. As the show goes on, we learn more about Rex's past and we see him learn and grow as a character. Generator Rex, no doubt, was a hit for the network. It was one of my favorite shows as a kid, and I never missed an episode. Generator Rex, much like its cousin show Ben 10, also got a tie-in video game. When I asked around on Twitter and some mutuals whether they knew of this game, the reactions were very confused. Not a lot of people knew Generator Rex even had its own tie-in game, and this game somehow ties into the show itself, which gave me an idea. I want to talk about whether this game sucks or is worthy of your time, or maybe I'm just nostalgia blind for old Cartoon Network. You know, back when everything was good. Are you singing? Dun, 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 dun. Are you singing? Dun, dun. As I was saying, just like Rex, ready your smack hands as we discuss if the Generator Rex game is truly memorable, or another licensed game that should have stayed forgotten.
Some people might say I have an attitude.
Don't mess this one up, hotshot.
In case you haven't noticed, I have this problem with authority. But being a secret weapon's a real ego boost. This young man is a miracle. Sometimes, though, I just want to be normal.
I'm glad you're out there helping, because as far as b-ball skills go, you're hopeless.
Nah, I'll take secret weapon over normal anytime.
Generator Rex, a brand new series starting Friday, April 23rd at 8:30 on Cartoon Network.
Generator Rex, Agent of Providence, plays like a hack and slash beat 'em up, where instead of using just your fists to take on enemies, you can use a variety of Rex's builds to shoot, fight, and slash any bad guy in your way. Released for all major consoles including the 3DS, Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii, which is the version I'm playing, considering the 360 and PS3 version are the same. The 3DS version is different, but I'll talk a little bit about that one later. The Wii version is pretty okay, despite the in-game cutscenes looking a tad grainy at times, but that's probably due to the power of the Wii. Agent of Providence throws you right in as Rex, about to make an iconic leap to kill some bad Evos. It's during this free fall segment where we're taught the basic controls of the game, which are pretty straightforward. This level also highlights the main key characters in this game, Dr. Holiday and Agent 6, and Rex's trusty sidekick Bobo. The CGI cutscenes are something to get used to, and they do look a tad weird, especially Rex. Jesus, those teeth. Looks like every character in this game is gonna bite my head off.
That why we're flying over Mexico? I was kind of hoping we were on a taco run.
Oh, those teeth. As for the story, Agent of Providence takes all lore and continuity from Generator Rex and uses it to construct a story. All villains, side characters, and major returning characters are in this game and serve a role in the plot. Villains like Quarry, Breach, and Beowulf are in this game. Even Rex's love interest Cersei is in this game and helps Rex defeat the main antagonist of this game, Van Cleis, whose main purpose in this game's story is to get all the Omega-1 nanite blueprints to take over the world. US Rex must prevent him from reaching that goal by collecting blueprints within the 11 levels in this game. Unlike traditional action beat-em-ups, there is no 1, 2, 3 level structure. Instead, US Rex will travel to different locations around the world, like Mexico, Hong Kong, and Aquania. Each level has their own set objectives, enemies, and boss battles. Some bosses do feel a tad lazy, like the Evo Bunny, which I had to fight twice in this game. I don't know why the developers decided to throw the same mutated Easter Bunny 2 times in a row. The second time you fight the Evo Bunny is pretty much the same as the first. Most boss battles in this game are not really that challenging. The ones that were a tad difficult were Breach and Van Cleis in his Omega Evo form, but just like the first boss of this game, you pretty much use your slam cannon, hit it and kill it using the power of quick time events. That's how you know this game was made in 2011, when it has an insane amount of QuickTime events. For every single boss battle, Agent of Providence story is short, taking no less than 4 to 5 hours to complete the main story. As a result, more time was put into the combat rather than the amount of levels. Agent of Providence combat system stays very true to the show. You really feel like Rex, powers and all. The game's story revolves around Rex losing some of his Omega builds. After the first level of the game, you learn that you don't have some of your Omega builds. You have to reacquire them and upgrade them. I want to go over some of the main builds that are in this game. You have the Smack Hands, which are giant fists that Rex can use to kick some butt. You have the BFS, which stands for Big Fat Sword, which is a massive sword for slicing enemies. You have the Slam Cannon, a cannon that fires projectiles, often made from things found in the environment. You also have your Punk Busters, which are rocket power boots for high jumps and powerful kicks. Now this build can only be used in certain sections of this game, which does suck, but the Punk Busters can be freely used in the 3DS version of the game, if you want to try it out. As for the Omega Nanite builds you get later in the game, you have the Blast Caster, a backpack that lets you use a powerful whip. You have the Fun Chucks, nunchuck-like weapons that can be swung or thrown, and the Bat Axes, a pair of large axes for powerful, close-range attacks. I just realized while reading this, I feel like the show was trying to get away with curse words, but some of these build names are pretty funny. There's also a level where you use Rex's Ride with Bobo shooting from behind, but it's really only used once. By the time you reach the last level of the game, you have all 3 of your Omega builds, which do work very weird in this game. 2 of the Omega builds, the Fun Chucks and the Bat Axes, are automated, so you can only control the direction you use them. The only Omega build you have some control over is the Blast Caster, which is 1 out of 3. I'm assuming the reason is because maybe the rush development, but if you have full access to the Rex Sword build, why not make the other builds similar to that? Because when I was playing the game, the Omega builds felt more like power-ups that were timed, which they are. I would have liked more control, but even with that issue, the combat for this game, for the most part, is satisfying, with light attacks and heavy attacks that feel very good to use. The combat for this game is not deep. There's no combos and you can't chain moves together. And heavy attack, dodge and block. There is an upgrade system in this game to make your main build stronger as well as your Omega builds. You'll notice a few changes like the rate of fire on your Slam Cannon, and more combos for the Smack Hands and BFS. The combat for this game is simple to master for younger and older audiences who like Generator Rex. Now, personally, after messing around with all the builds and using all of Rex's moves in this game, I feel while the combat system is okay, like I said before, it would have benefited from the same combat system as Ben 10 Protector of the Earth Hear Me Out. I would have loved if there were different button combinations to trigger a special or an attack. I would have also liked if there was a way to buy moves because the upgrades for this game are very bare bones. I somewhat understand what this game was going for. This satisfying sense of progression that a lot of these cartoon licensed games have. Heck, even modern ones do. Well, they'll give you a little bit of a taste of the full power of that character and then take it away. And throughout the course of that game, unlock those powers back, as well as new stuff. There is a sense of growing stronger in the game, but all of Rex's 3 main builds are given at the start. They're not taken away, only the Omega builds. The developers should have put their focus on one build each, and giving that said build a variety of moves and combos to unlock throughout the course of the game. Like for example, imagine starting the game with the sword, and by level 4, you got all the moves for that sword. Now you have the Slam Cannon, and you can upgrade that now. Now the combat for this game is decent, but it's very simple and only requires 2 buttons to do most of the moves. There's not that much variety as I would like in the combat. Agent of Providence also doesn't have any post-game content. When you defeat Van Kleist in this epic boss battle using all your builds, you're reunited with Cersei. We then get a cutscene with Bobo and Rex's brother, who was kidnapped, if I didn't mention that before. Then after that, the credits roll, and you're sent right back to this dead, lifeless hub world. Nothing to do besides talk to Doc Holliday about DNA samples you collected. After I was done with this game, I didn't want to do any of that. Despite the few good things this game has, because of how insanely short it is, a lot of the levels you'll want them to be longer. There is a sense that this game was rushed. I mean, the Activision logo is right there, and this logo has plagued many a licensed game. This company is known for rushing their developers to produce mid-tier games. Even with that, this game doesn't have any replayability. Again, I gotta go back to the Ben 10 game. Since it's also a man of action property, why not? But in those games, you usually start with a few aliens, then there'll be some collectibles you can't reach yet, cause you don't have that alien. I think Agent of Providence, to reward players and have the game be replayable, I feel a system like that would have helped. The levels should stand out and give you a reason to replay them. If there's no incentive to replay the game, then what's the point? And it's not like the levels are bad themselves. Each one's very diverse. You got jungle levels, remote islands. It feels like you are going around the world with Rex. There's even annoying levels where you have to run away from spikes before they kill you. So there is some sense of variety in levels like that do feel like they're taken from the show, but because the game can be repetitive after a long playthrough, trust me, it took me 2 days to play this game because of how mind-numbing some of the levels are. I think where this game shines most, it's the voice acting. This game has the original cast from Generator Rex reprise their roles. The game retains Rex's quips, Bobo's wisecracks, and the serious tones of Agent 6 and Dr. Holiday, which makes this game feel like a true extension of the show. And the game's story, even though some parts do not make any sense, has been confirmed to be canon by Duncan Roulet on Twitter, of Man of Action and a writer, and co-creator of Ben 10. The tweet was a response to a fan, and he replied, "Everything falls under canon," which means this story somewhat ties into the show some way, don't know where, but it's there. I feel like the story being canon does make this game feel like an episode of Generator Rex that you can play in a way. The writers for this game nailed the portrayal of every character and every event from the show. From the story to the major plot points are all accounted for. Aside from the weird looking CGI at times, don't look at Bobo too much.
Take some friendly advice from the monkey, huh? She'll be fine.
God, he looks like the Danimal's monkey mutated. Agent of Providence, by all means, isn't a perfect game. There's technical glitches, weird fixed camera angles that make it difficult sometimes, especially if you're platforming. But what Agent of Providence excels at is feeling like Generator X. This game nails its characters perfectly, with good writing and keeping true to its characters. The story does feel like filler in some areas, but overall, it's good and easy to understand. Not a lot of kid licensed games can capture the feeling of a show right. They'll often misinterpret the characters' motivations, or will sometimes write them very out of character and give them weird dialogue. Agents of Providence doesn't do that, and it's large part thanks to the writing and the voice acting, which makes this game feel alive. Despite the game being a tad repetitive at times, and also very short, Agent of Providence is an epic ride all the way through, and in my opinion, worthy of being remembered as a faithful license game. My name is Ramen. Peace out.